But there's blood stains in the photos. Sitting Bull's blood.
Okay, I know you've had a lot of interest going way back in Native Americans, Indians, and finally your book on The Earth Is All That Lasts came out in what year?
2022, I think.
Oh, okay, so that's fairly recent.
Yeah.
So tell us about that book. How you got interested in the Indians.
Sure. Well, that's another thing that kind of comes from my childhood. I mean, I have memories of visiting the Little Bighorn battlefield as a child. You know, my family took us, my dad took us on family vacations during the summer. My dad was a logger. You know, he cut maples and walnuts and all the Missouri.
Was he interested in history?
Yes, he was, and he always made sure to take off 10 days to 2 weeks every summer. And I had two sisters. And we would go on a little vacation. And we had to hit every fort, historic house, museum, and especially Park Service places because at that time they were free. It was free admission.
Free, yeah.
And so, I tell people that he wasn't just educating the kids. He was educating himself and my mom. My mom had me when she was 17, so she didn't graduate from high school. My dad didn't. My dad made it to the 8th grade, and that was it because he had to go help my granddad in the woods at the sawmill. So they were very young and they were exploring, and so we were all learning together. So anyway, but one of the places we visited was Little Bighorn, and I was always fascinated by that. And as I got older, what fascinated me as a child was this mystery. You know, no one lived to tell the tale, right? The Custer's men. And then I found out, well, actually, the Indians lived. They all saw, you know, it wasn't like everybody got wiped out. The victors lived, and they did tell their stories. And so The Earth Is All That Lasts is a dual biography of Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull. And just like Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid, Two Hell of a Fast Horse, a dual biography. And so I found, you know, fortunately, that there were, again, dozens of accounts by warriors who fought with Crazy Horse and Sitting Bull. There were some very far-sighted individuals who went to the Pine Ridge Reservation, who went to the Standing Rock, and they interviewed these people. They interviewed Sitting Bull's nephews who lived with them and fought with them. They interviewed their close friends. He-Dog was one of Crazy Horse's friends. They got to interview him.
He was still alive.
He was still alive,
When was that?
1929.
20s, yeah.
29 and 30.
Wow.
So fortunately, these things were recorded. And again, I mean, you know, the advantages of modern technology. So one of the individuals who wrote an early biography of Sitting Bull was Stanley Vestal. And Stanley Vestal, he went to the reservation. He kept notebooks. He had dozens and dozens of notebooks of interviews. Well, those have all been scanned by the University of Oklahoma. So you can go online right now. And if you go to my book in the back and note, and I say notebook, whatever, and page, if you want to verify that I got it right, you can look it up yourself online and see all my sources. And so I didn't have to visit the University of Oklahoma where the originals are. I could see everything online. Now, you know, with all my books, I still have to travel because there's just some things that aren't available. So I went to the historical societies in North Dakota and South Dakota. You know, throughout my research, one of the thrills of doing this, and it's the same thing with you and you know, holding Frank Stewart's gun, for instance, or original documents and photos.
History you could feel.
Yes. Well, I got to hold the diary that Theodore Roosevelt kept on San Juan Hill. I held his commission, you know, as a Rough Rider. I got to, you know, when I was researching this, I got to hold. There were these two cabinet cards that were taken off of Sitting Bull's body after he was killed. Actually, yeah, they were stolen. I mean, this guy just, you know, they just took things. And
was it a U.S. soldier?
Yeah, it was an assistant surgeon there at Fort Yates. But here's the thing, and nobody knew about this. It's like, and I have it illustrated in my book. But there's blood stains in the photos. Sitting Bull's blood.
Here.
Yeah, and you know, that's when these people become real. They're not just historical figures. Whenever you see Sitting Bull's blood and you're holding it, that guy's real, and it's very moving. And I kind of live for those moments, and which is why I so enjoyed, Kurt, your collection and your passion, in getting the documentation and the history, and it's just fun seeing these things that belong to these well-known individuals. So yeah, we share that same passion. So anyway, the Sitting Bull Crazy Horse book, it's a very sad story, but I try to tell people that I find it inspirational that these two leaders, they never surrendered. Those guys never signed a treaty. Never. Red Cloud signed a treaty, Spotted, but they wanted nothing to do with the U.S. government. They just wanted to be left alone. And they were both murdered, killed. But they always fought for their people, and they died, trying to fight for their people and their culture. And so I see their lives inspirational. Their ends were tragic, but they're something we can aspire to today.
Were they both Lakota Sioux?
Yes, they're both Lakota. Crazy Horse was Oglala.
I didn't think they were exactly.
Yeah, different branches or tribes. And Sitting Bull was Hunkpapa.
Oh, that's
so,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, very interesting.
In the land where the bison thundered, where the wide Missouri rolled, lived the nations of the prairie, proud and fearless, free and bold. But the iron rails came creeping, and the white man brought his guns. Still the spirits of the Lakota would not bow to anyone. The earth is all that lasts, they cried, as the stars watched from above. We ride for the children yet unborn. We fight for the land we love. Though their names be carved in sorrow and the blood-soaked memory past, the wind still whispers through the grass. The earth is all